Thank you very much for the introduction. I'm going to be speaking about a project based at the University of Victoria in collaboration with TRU researchers as well as the Canadian Centre for Climate Modelling and Analysis. So what's the issue we're trying to deal with? We're trying to deal with future climate and how future climate change will affect future forest fire risk. Obviously, we all know that the world has warmed. It's now at a time globally, it's never been warmer for the Holocene, the last 10,000 years. We may have had a few summer temperatures in Canada warmer in the past, but where we're heading is to a climate for which there are no parallels in human history. And if we look at the latest years, of course, last year was set the new record for the warm above the 20th century average of about 1.3 degrees, which translated to about 1.5 degrees above the pre-industrial average. Now, the reason why we're in such a conundrum with respect to the lack of policy in terms of mitigating climate change, and the reason why we have to focus so much now on adaptation, is largely because of political will. Now, I will not make this a political talk, and trying to constrain it, both an academic and a former politician, to under 7 minutes is going to be remarkable. If it happens, it will. But is because climate change really is an issue for which the solutions will not show an effect in the lifetime of the decision makers putting in place the policies for those solutions. We all know electoral cycles happen on 4 years. If you're a politician seeking to get reelected, of course you're going to introduce policies like reducing hip and knee replacement lineups so that as the 4-year term comes up, you can point to things that have happened that will actually make the life difference, a big difference to the life of the individuals you're representing, and say, vote me back in. On climate change, as I'll illustrate here quickly, it's far more complicated. And this has led to it always being put off for someone else to deal with it. Shown here are two color images in 2 columns. The first column shows the average of the over the decade. I can't read it very well. 2016 to 2035. And the second column shows the average over the last couple of decades of this century. And now that is relative to what was done with the average climate in 1986 to 2005. And as you click through this, we ask the question, if we look at the first 4 panels, these are saying what would we projected to have seen to occur in terms of temperature out in the 2016 to 2035 era relative to the previous 3 decades, 1886 to 2005. And these simulations were started in the early 2000s. And you look at these, and you see that in each and every one of them, the global warming is about 0.5 degrees. That is, regardless of the 4 panels I'm showing, and each of these 4 panels represents dramatically different policy pathways. The top is a very fossil fuel driven pathway. Let's keep on building pipelines and burning coal and oil. That's the top one. The bottom one is a green one. We're now going to all start doing solar panels, and population is going to decrease, et cetera, et cetera. And so these are called scenarios of future emissions, and based on policy decisions that would be made. Now, regardless of the policy decisions, you see the warming in the next couple of decades is essentially the same. However, the decisions being made today have a profound influence on what the climate system looks like at the end of this century. So this is, in essence, boils the entire issue of global warming down to a single question. Do we, the present generation, owe anything to future generations in terms of the quality of the environment we leave behind, yes or no? If no, who cares about global warming? Because really what we do today is not going to have effect for a few days because of inertia in our socioeconomic systems, our built environment. We don't build a coal factory today to shut it down tomorrow. And that essentially says that the issue of global warming is one of intergenerational equity, something that I believe that pretty much everyone in this room believes is important, yet has not actually continued to support the efforts to actually deal with the problem, which is inconsistent with the belief that is an important issue. So what are we trying to do as part of this National Fire Initiative? We have 5,000-year integrations of 2 versions of the Canadian Earth System model run out of Victoria. That's the Environment Canada and Climate Change model used in the IPCC's assessments, These are equilibrium climates at different warmings from today. So what is shown here is a list of those different climates. We have, you know, the present day climate is the bottom line, and then warmer climates above that's the pre-industrial climate is the bottom, warmer climates above it. And I'm just showing straightish lines, 50-year running means, because they'd be overlapping with lots of variability otherwise. So we have two versions of the model. And what we're going to be looking at, and what we are looking at, in fact, is trying to define probability distribution functions or probability density functions for things like wildfire risk, forest fire season length, danger severity rating, and things like that. What I've shown here is the example to address the type of questions we're asking. With 5,000 years of integration of model equilibrium at slightly warmer climates, we have really good statistics. So we can get a distribution in the present climate and see how does that distribution change as the climate warms? What is the likelihood of the severity getting either shifting it all to one direction, or maybe it becomes the tails get longer, or maybe it skews on one side? These are important questions to ask, because in terms of policy deliberations for forest fire risk and management in the future, you also have to assess the change in the actual conditions that are going to happen in the future as well. And so that's essentially what we're doing here, is calculating the length of the forest fire season, fire weather index, daily severity rating, asking the questions, how will the fire season, how long is it now, and how long will it be? How intense are the conditions when we ask about the fire wind weather index, and how difficult will it be to control these fires? And here's just one example from the EU showing what a probability distribution function or probability distribution function might look like. This is basically the Canadian forest fire. This is their weekly severity index averaged over the summers, and I can't read without my glasses and I can't see it, over several recent decades. We'll be looking at that and then looking at future climates as well. And from that then, we can then look at as I said, calculate them for future climates as well, to ask the question, what will happen to changing fire conditions, risk, and ability to fight them in the future? And these are the researchers involved. Daniel Garduno-Ruiz is over there. He's the key researcher on the project, and we'd be happy to answer any questions moving forward. Thank you. And I'm 37 seconds over.